Welcome to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, a show needs an intro. This is that intro. I am Fisher, your host. Featuring Chris McCarty. We brought that chick back in today to see how awkward we could make it again. Hi, Molly. How you doing, Chris?
I'm well. My eye feels better. Thank you.
All right. I also want to confirm. Hey, Nikki. I also want to confirm that you guys have audio. So just somebody real quickly confirm that you guys can hear us as we bring in our sponsor for the first 15 minutes, and that is going to be Single Source Insurance. Thank you so much, Single Source Insurance. Go to singlesourceinsurance.com to get your quote today. Cords, how are you today? It was such a weird show. All right, we're good. Thank you, Adam. It was such a weird show yesterday because, for whatever reason, we could not see any messages coming in.
Which there are no accidents. I think that was kind of interesting because it just allowed things to play out the way they did. Because you would have probably read some of the comments and kind of, but the scenes were not parted.
Yeah. But, let's bring in Molly. Molly, welcome back in. How are you doing?
I'm doing well,
Yeah?
Feeling good today.
All right.
You guys notice how Molly's on the couch and I'm over here.
Yeah.
I think I walked into that, so I think that was
I had to separate them two today.
Yeah.
It's funny, afterwards, Deirdre, everyone knows Deirdre. Deirdre's one of my best friends and business partners. She was like, that when you wear red, that's something with the colors in you. Like when you're wearing white or blue, you're real chill. When you're in red, you're like, grr. And she's like, that's the second time I've seen that. I'm like, all right, there may be some truth to that.
All right.
I don't know. It's, but I'll say this. Molly, you look nice today.
Thank you.
I see you,
Chris Adams. Oh, she's showing it all off.
Wait, let me ask, Molly.
All right.
What's the deal?
I'm feeling sexy today, and I want a little bit of attention.
All right, here we go again.
You know what?
Here we go again.
But I'm owning it.
You know what? See, now check this out.
Real quick, Chris. And live via satellite from the world's furthest point from Chris McCarty, Molly.
That was a good one.
You know what I like? Check this out. So, if everyone you weren't here yesterday, Molly and I we had a conversation.
By the way, you see how great this shot looks, man?
But, yeah.
How good you look today.
How about this?
I just want to point out
because I'm not next to him.
No, I switched some lighting around. I did some things, and also I think the sunglasses you were wearing the last few days was throwing this camera out of focus.
Okay,
but it looks so. I'm just happy that the camera's. Sorry, go back to the story.
No, you're good. You're good. So, but for those of you who weren't here yesterday, Molly was kind of going back and forth with some things, and I have a weird OCD, hey, stay on track kind of situation, and some people had some mixed feelings about it. But what I like to see is the first thing she just said was I'm feeling sexy, want a little attention, and I'm owning it. Like that was exactly what I was saying before. So in some ways, maybe my tough brotherly honest love kind of worked a little bit, and you're kind of feeling me a little bit.
We had maybe 2-hour talk.
Afterwards,
because we were it was about 2 hours,
30 minutes because I had to go to work.
Maybe it was 30
minutes.
Here's exaggerate. I don't do exaggerate. Say what it is.
I felt like it was 2 hours.
Maybe because I can be long-winded.
I first time meeting you, you had a bad eye yesterday.
I could play into it. I admit.
But yes. we're good. There's no bad.
What? So, how about this, Chris? Put the camera over there. I'm going to show you how great we are. Hold on.
Am I getting a hug?
Sure, you're getting better than a hug, girl. I'm sliding in.
What am I? But a hug too. Let's hug it out.
I'm done.
I feel like this is turning into one of those horrible
blood.
pornos. I feel like it's
turning bad blood.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I was going to actually have that playing.
All right.
My ringtone.
Well, let's start with yesterday. Chris, I know I went back and watched yesterday. You had not yet, and I know that Molly watched at least a portion of her.
I watched all of it.
Oh, you watched all of it. All right. So you know how you and I were talking the other day about the shows are never as good as you think they are, and they're never as bad as you think they are. Well, yesterday's show was not as good as we thought it was. I thought, the tension there was good. There's good, but it lasted for 30 minutes, Chris. I went back and watched it. Started around the 28-minute mark, and for the rest of the show, here's the thing: tension can be good as long as it's broken. There's tension and you break it. Tension and you break it.
And that's where I think if we had the comments, it would have been broken.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I could also say that the fact that we went downstairs and I was able to really get her to understand and be more like me. Like everyone sees me talking calmly and all this stuff, and it was like she saw that I really am on her team. It was just a different way of the way I approach it, and that's the thing. I own it. I'm a different dude, and I can be very passionate, and I'm also an empath. For those who don't know what empaths are, like I feel energy. You see me on stage. If people are into it, I get more into it. So she was feeling and then I started feeling and it just kept going, which is that's part of energy. It's an energy thing. So I'll just say to you, my friend, I apologize for dragging that on the way it did. I think there are no accidents, of course, and I think that the lesson from that is me publicly, of course, in front of everyone, being like, I apologize for taking the show and making it about me and how I'm feeling and what she's feeling instead of it being about everyone else and people coming to learn something and figure things out. Granted, I'm glad that it helped Molly and I. We're cool, and and now she really sees where I'm coming from, and it's great, and she's owning it. And dude, that's all I want. That's all I want from everybody, to just be who you are with no apologies. Just it's just who I am, man.
I appreciate the apology. You don't have to apologize. Yes, think about it, Chris. You and I have known each other for years, and we've talked about doing a show together for 5 years as well. Yeah. But there's the it's like if you and I were to start a basketball team, there's going to be times when you throw that pass and I'm not going to be in the spot where I'm supposed to be. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're still filling out a lot of things, and part of my job, obviously, as the guy that's sitting here pushing the buttons, is to have a certain amount of control.
Of course.
But I also like to give enough rope, right?
Yeah.
Give enough rope.
Do what they do.
And some, that pays off a lot of times, and sometimes it doesn't pay off. But a couple of things that happened yesterday that I want to apologize for is I did let the show get out of control. There were times that my emotions were so revved up that I was like this. I was in that place.
I remember that moment.
Yeah.
I remember that moment because watching back too, it immediately cuts to her sitting next to you, and the look at her face was just like, "Oh shit, what did I?"
What I get signed up for? Yeah, and I understand.
But a couple of things that happened yesterday that I thought were interesting. One is, like I said during the show yesterday, that I knew you were already agitated,
and I'm glad you pointed that out.
Like a lion that had a thorn in its paw, and so in my head, because of the authenticity that we're trying to make sure is a part of the show, there was a part of me going, okay, this is going to be good, because when you've got that going on, when any of us humans have that going on, that's an irritant, like a mosquito buzz, and you can't focus and be in control like you normally are.
Right.
So in my head, I'm like, all right, so this is going to be interesting. We've got this guest in here. He's in this agitated space. Then we started having issues with the audio. Remember that?
Yeah,
with the ear stuff, and I'm like, okay, so now
now
it's taking his agitation up even a hair more. I'm like, okay, we're going to see a different layer of truths come out of Chris today.
And I'll say this, I think I was reading in the 4 Agreements where we love the mask of everyone thinking that we're great all the time, and we don't want to lose that. And I'm in a space now where I was telling her I didn't care if you like me or not. I was just going to tell my truth. And there was a time in the past where I used to care too much what other people thought and wanted people to like me, and I'm just over it at this point. So I'm okay with being myself. I'm very comfortable in my skin, and I still stand behind that. And here's one thing that I also want to point out. It could have been, there was a moment in yesterday's show where it could have been perceived that I was being insensitive to rape. Could have been perceived that I said something else.
There was. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so what I want to say to everyone is like, what I was implying was like, we know that those people who perform or try to do those acts, horrible acts, they're out there, and knowing that they're out there, I'm just saying, be careful and mindful of what you do, because you could be, she got a text that someone was saying, can I, jerk off to this? Like that's one level, but what's the next level? So that's really what I was trying to imply. Like, these people exist, so we got to just be mindful. But it's still, I didn't want to make it sound like, girls can't wear what they want to. Well, why do you think that happened to you? I know that line, and I'm not trying to play that line. I want everyone to express who you are. I'm just saying it could have, because Deirdre, my, of course, best friend, she's looking out for me. She's like, hey, just make sure, because that could have been, and dude, I don't ever want to ever have that come across.
And by the way, as far as the opinions that were coming from yesterday and your views on certain things, her views and my views, I guess I'm not apologizing for any of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
We allowed emotion to get out of control, and it went on for 30 minutes. And I wasn't listening to Chris. I was yelling because I was frustrated he wasn't hearing me. He's yelling because he's frustrated that we're not hearing him. And then that doesn't make for a good show. Yep. And so as the host, as the guy that controls the buttons, I need to be in a better place. So in those moments, I can, cut that joke. And no, one of the crutches that I use, though, are you guys in the comment section. And they weren't there yesterday. So I'm like looking down, going, there's got to be some comments somewhere. Right. Where the hell are they?
That was interesting.
I remember, I don't know why there.
They just weren't there. And then after the show, we saw that there were 50 of them. But just so let's go ahead and get them in.
Now. And I definitely want to clear up, because there was a comment that I did see. It goes without saying that a married man should not be doing anything like that. Like, it goes without saying. All right. So because it made it seem like someone was thinking that I wasn't worried about the married. I was worried about this person. I cared about, just to clear that out, I was focusing on her, like her actions and reactions and doing that. Of course, I was married and I did not cheat. So clearly I believe and I agree with what you're saying. So,
all right. So let's get to all right, another couple of comments, and then we'll get to On This Day. We've got our quote of the day, and we'll move on with the show this morning.
Look nice, though.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You guys look nice as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Nikki, me personally, I enjoyed the show. It was raw emotion, real talk. Maybe it drug on a while, but everything happens for a reason. It shed some light on reality. Yeah, and again, I don't mind that, a little bit of emotion, but we got stuck in that emotion for over 30 minutes, and I've just been doing this too long, over 25 years to know that the brain can only take
so much.
Yeah, because now all of our anxiety is piled on top of what you already have to deal with.
Right.
And there's, just like in a song, a movie, anything else,
there needs to be
flow. Yeah, ebb and flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Steve goes, glad to see everything worked out. Still the best show in the Bay Area. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. She came up to you and came with me to my show last night. That's how cool we ended up getting. I'm sure there are people who are like, dude, this is going to be up. But no,
there's a major friendship going on right now.
Yeah, so that was an interesting thing that happened after the show. Yeah, I had some client stuff to take care of. I had to create some original online content. And so about an hour later, I go downstairs, and they're in the green room eating lunch, having beers. And
beers were had.
Yeah, and working it out.
Yep.
Are you gigging on for Memorial Day? Adam wants to know.
When is Memorial Day?
It's a couple. I think we got a couple weeks.
It's something 20th.
All right.
So I want to in a second.
Let's get to as you're looking that up. Thanks, Chris. I'm going to get to On This Day today. At the top of On This Day in history. And the reason that we do On This Day, even though it seems like an old hackneyed radio bit, which it is one, because of my childhood and the things that stood out of my head listening to the radio as a kid. On This Day I always loved, because I felt like it just laid out the universe in front, like this timeline, and things lined up and made sense. I don't know. What the?
That's me.
Also, I want to see if we can bring in, I'm glad that did that because it's noon. And I want to see if we can bring in Eric Strapman. No, he hasn't come back yet. That was another move yesterday. I wonder if I had to do over again, if I would have changed that, because Eric Strapman, one of our guests yesterday, was calling in after I could not connect with him. But you guys were in the middle of your thing, going back and forth, and I'm like, I should let this play out. So I just, I ignored when he was trying to connect with us, but. If I had to do over again, I think I might have gone to him just as, I don't know. Like Chris always says, things happen for a reason. It played out the way it played out for a reason yesterday. And for those of you that didn't see it,
you should watch it.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely as
compelling.
Well, so the woman I don't have it up on my thing who commented saying it was raw and real. That it was absolutely raw, real, not staged at all.
Fast forward to about 28 minutes. So I start there.
And then you can see me rolling my eyes. I'm just like,
I think one thing what got lost for her, and I had to repeat it. It was like, I just see more in you. You're more than this. And I think when I was, whatever.
All right, so let's do that. Then let's go back and see. Let's see if we can come together on the points that you were trying to make yesterday. I was trying to make. And I don't know if Molly ever got a chance to make any points, or if she was just sitting there fastballs are being thrown at her.
I was trying to leave right after the show. I really was like, I
don't need this shit.
I'm not doing this.
I was like, I'm really annoyed. I think I said to you, I was like, I really don't want to talk. I don't.
You did that. Yeah,
I understand.
Right. And I was like packing my bags and it's like, enjoy your sneakers.
Tell your kid thanks.
So let's start with you, Molly. What was your take? What were you thinking by the end of the show? Did you felt attacked? I would imagine.
Well, during the show, absolutely, I did.
Every bit. Don't hold back how you feel.
No, I'm not. Don't. Hold back.
Good. If there's one thing we learned from yesterday,
no, it was just and then after watching it back last night after your show, and I was just like, okay, I was a little kind of rude too. I mean, I shouldn't have been rolling my eyes at you but. My point was that I never, I'm not trying to ever call anybody out, and I don't want any friends of mine to think that you are going to be called out if you speak to me, because I was not going to call anybody out yesterday. And so I felt when I watched it that I wanted to just show him. I wanted to be like, fine, I'll say the name because you don't think I will.
Battle of egos. It gets you every time.
It always does. Yeah.
And I think I seemed maybe a little...
Well, it's funny you say it because as you were saying that, Adam chimes in. Google searches for Rays players traded to Mariners spiked yesterday.
Probably did. And so that's all I was going to leave it at. Because I had told Chris the story. And so I wasn't going to say his name. I was going to indirectly.
Right.
And then I just was like, fine. If he wants me to own it.
So let's start right there then, because this is an issue that Chris and I disagree on, and what this concerned yesterday without it getting heated.
Yeah.
This was one of those moments that kept going round and round and round. There was she gets various DMs from different guys. Some of them are married, some of them are not. Some of them are crude, some of them are not. And this happened to be this guy that she was having a relationship with, and then found out that he had a fiance, or she was a girlfriend at the time.
But now fiance, yeah.
And now fiance. Really matter, and this is a professional ball player. So at first she wasn't going to say, call him out by name. Just say, listen, because she's annoyed, she's frustrated, and she throws out there that he was a Rays player that was traded to another team. Well, then Chris is like, well, what the hell? That's an easy Google. You're going to figure out who that is, and that's effed up. Now, Chris, explain from your point of view. Just explain your point of view on that one.
My point of view is that it's like the whole glass house thing. I'm sure there are things in life that you have done that you wouldn't want someone to call you out on. So why don't air someone else's dirty laundry kind of thing. And it's kind of like, when I hear that, it makes me like, well, I'm not.
But she was hurt. She was hurt. If you think about it from her perspective.
And what we talked about afterwards, because I think the way she said it started out was he was hitting you up with liking your pictures. And so, and at one point she's like, I want a relationship, and where I afterwards was able to explain, I'm like, hey, if you do that, do you go to people and hit pictures? No. Well, then that doesn't line up with who you are. So why are you wasting your time? And that's not going to be something that's going to be beneficial to you. You can just tell off rip. And so most of the times when people are liking what they're like, there's a saying, I guess it's like Devil's Playground, idle hands of Devil's Playground. So it's like there's someone who, and if the story goes for he had a girlfriend that he's probably bored and just looking for hot girl and wound up there. And that, so my thing was like, hey man, you got to think for a second, is this really, you think that's the dude for you? That kind of thing.
So the way that registered to me yesterday was, it didn't feel right. It felt like you were defending, because I've been, being in the media for the last 25 years, I've been around a lot of athletes. I've been around a lot of musicians, stand-up comics, actors, celebrities, and it felt like you were trying to defend a certain culture that permeates those with status.
Yes.
And because it is not true. They do not all do it.
I know.
But I have played golf with plenty of guys that have two phones.
Yeah.
They have their phone that their wife knows about and the phone that their wife doesn't know about. And so to me, it seemed like you were upset because you don't want to we were upsetting the apple cart, the status quo that people that are ball players, that are professional athletes, are allowed to lead these lives and not be called out for it.
Yeah, I was more upset because I personally am not going to do that, and this is a show that I'm doing with you, and I didn't want that on my show, like people calling out people's name, and it's like I don't want to be attached to that. So that's part of why I got a little bothered with that. Part of the other part of it is like, hey man, like you've done things, like don't call someone. Why are you saying someone's name in there in the dirty laundry? Like, what's that say about you? Type situation. And so I like, you and I call each other out all the time. I call myself out. You call yourself out. So it's just the same kind of situation when I was doing over here. Yet again, I was agitated with everything going on.
Yeah, you were in a state of agitation all around yesterday.
It was not about me defending in defense of it's defenseless. Like you're doing that. I didn't do that. Like I get it. But it was just kind of like, dude, don't do that here. Like, that was where a lot of that came from.
Okay.
And I learned something a lot, like really good lesson from you yesterday.
Thanks, that's awesome. What was it?
Or just a life thing, because you were saying, that's not the type of person you want. Like, she asked me, what do I want? Mm-hmm. And I said straight up, I'm looking for something serious. I would like to be married one day. I would like to have kids one day.
Yeah.
And definitely was not looking like that type yesterday. And
it's not about looking like that type.
Or not.
It was just
I
think what you were saying is what I got from her yesterday was like, it was more like when I was saying like, well, it's mixed signals, like, and it was just all this was you just fine tuning yourself as to be like, what, I think I hear what homeboy is saying, just like, like, hey, what, I don't know what it is that you're wanting, I don't know what you're doing, what are you doing, kind of thing. And I've been asked that so many times growing up, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I love playing music, but what are you trying to do?
All right.
And so
So then, Molly, what's your takeaway? Because as he was saying a lot of these things, I was playing the contrarian, saying, listen, don't listen to him, just do you. But you walked away yesterday. And by the way, if you're catching up, what we're talking about is if you track down her Twitter account, she's got a lot. She's an attractive woman. She's got a lot of selfies. I'm sorry, what did I say?
I don't really Twitter that
Instagram,
much.
Sorry, Instagram. Molly_Jacobson. It's an account with a lot of selfies, and there's a lot of perfectly innocent pictures, and there's ones that are sexy. Okay, she's also have some videos where it's her in a bathing suit and she's bouncing around. And that was, I think, kind of the jumping point yesterday, where Chris is like, "Listen, were you basically saying if you want to be respected, if pick a lane, because you're acting like a porn star here. So if you want to go down that route and have people donate stuff to your account, then do that. If you're trying to be a businesswoman and respected and find a man and get married one day, you need to act a little bit.
It was a little bit of all that. I mean, at one point, I was like, I thought that it was not like calling wolf, but it was like, hey, he said this is wrong and I'm offended. And then it was like, well, I'm a dad, so I don't just believe what Valentine and Johnny say. I'm already into, okay, what did you do? What's the deal? And then when I saw that, I was like, dude, you're crying wolf. It felt like, it almost came in, what maybe in my head, it was like I didn't understand why he was in a little bit of denial. That's kind of what I was going for, and I didn't like the denial thing. But and then it moved to, I want to have a relationship, married. Then it was like, well, and this is how my brain works. It's very logical. Like, that's why I do the guitar.
There ain't nothing logical about your brain, Chris.
What? Man, it's just, that's why I do the guitar and no numbers, and so it just didn't add up. And I'm just like, something kept hitting me like, I don't understand. Wait, what are you doing? What are you saying? You want to be married? What do you want? Because that's just giving mixed signals.
So Molly, Molly, after this,
but now it's good. She's owning things. Look at her.
Yeah, well, the way after you absorb this, so it sounds like some of the stuff that you were being defensive about yesterday, you're now going, I
totally see his point.
Okay. Now, but understanding somebody's point and actually agreeing and whatever are two different things. How do you...
I mean, I guess we agree to disagree on a few things, but he understood now where I was coming from, and I understood where he was coming from. And it wasn't a conversation that we could get done
at the table.
Now let's get to the next order of business. How the hell? So how yesterday's screaming match turned into you guys hanging out all day yesterday?
Yeah, we hung out till like 9 or 8:30 or something.
Until you had to go.
I saw him. His new song, amazing.
Thanks, man.
I did not know how talented this guy is. Like, he's the real deal.
Thank you.
He sure is.
Hats off to you, because the song is epic. And I actually, if you look at my Facebook, I shared it, and it's public. So if you click on you'll hear some live
What's your
music.
And what she's talking about, she's is the Chase Rice, or the song you are doing with Chase Rice or wrote for him or whatever, or giving to him, however that works.
Good.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
That's so awesome. Yeah, no, I'm really. It's cool. We got in the car, and Johnny was like, "Daddy, play your song." I'm really proud of it.
Oh, so Johnny's feeling it too?
Oh man, he doesn't stop singing it. He's like, "Bye, bye, bye,"
and that's a hit. It's a hit.
Yeah.
I was
really
like singing that in the car, and it's really good.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I really think it's gonna be, humbly speaking, I think it's gonna be a #1 song. Like, listen,
no, you can't proceed that with humbly speaking.
No, I'm just being honest. Like, I've never said that about any of my other songs. This is one where I'm like, you know what? Like, it just, at least on country. I mean, we played it last night, and people were like, man, they were really feeling it too. And I don't know, we'll see.
Oh yeah, he played it live last night for everyone, like for the first time.
Yeah.
Straight through.
Yeah, it was cool.
Adam wants to know if you guys made Whoopi.
No, we did not make Whoopi. I don't have to hook up with girls just to.
We can't be friends. We have to make Whoopi.
I mean, it was. I have my. It's look. I clearly felt. I felt a little bad.
Oh yeah, play the song.
Because I felt a little bad because of I was going hard, and I know how I am, and I know my dad. My father was a lawyer. Both our dads are lawyers, so you got both of us just going back and forth like we're little lawyers, because I'm great at debating and I pay attention, and so I was just in it, and so
my dad was a mailman. Does that make me good at delivering stuff?
Yes,
it might.
Delivering the piece, brother. You deliver the message very well. So that's it. Yeah. So we went down there, and it was like there were apologies. I apologized for this, and I cracked the beer, gave it to her, said, listen, I'm not trying to attack you. I just see more in you. I see something in you, like people have said in me, and maybe I feel like when I see these things, I just want to make sure that you are careful and you know what you're doing in this life, and you can pay attention. And I'm not going to be like other dudes who are just trying to hook up with you and be smiling and agreeing with you and saying stupid stuff. Like, what good is that? I'm not going to help you. I can't help you like that. And so, and again, if we could do it the way I am now, it would have,
Well, let me ask you something, Chris.
We could do this.
Where's the song? Didn't you record it yesterday down in the psych room?
Yeah, we did.
Do you have it on a hard drive, or where is it right now? Is it downstairs?
Now it's, on my phone. I don't know how to do it.
It's on your phone.
If I put the sound like.
Oh no! I mean, I got the actual recording thing that no one really has. This one. Hold on.
I tell you what. Just can you do me a favor? Can you grab a marker? Just put up on that board. Upload Chris's song, and I'll make just that whiteboard over there. There's a marker that there's on there, and then I'll make sure I load it into the system for tomorrow.
Cool.
And we'll play it. All right, let's get to a couple of.
Just a preview.
You're so giddy. You're so giddy. When was the last time you were this giddy about one of your songs?
Castle.
Get on the mic.
Yeah, Castle. I was really excited about Castle, and as a matter of fact, there's a video on my Facebook, where you can go and look at Castle. I was at a summer camp, and there's a bunch of kids, and I wasn't ready for this. I went and I played Castle, and I dropped the CD off, and I left. I came back the next year. Every one of these kids were screaming every lyric to my face. It was the most amazing, and that's
got to be a great feeling.
I'll tell you the truth. After that, I pulled off in the car, and I was praying to God and crying, saying thank you.
That's got to be an amazing.
Because it was.
And how special is that? Man. Think about it, Chris. That's such a low percentage experience for somebody to have in life.
Yeah.
For them to create something, then go back and have a group of people sing back their lyrics,
like telling me like how many times you have to listen to a song to know every lyric. So that's him playing like, man, these kids are really just. I mean, it was amazing, and it woke me up. I was like, oh, and then just I don't know. I'll try to find it. It's really cool. All right. So yeah, I haven't been giddy in a while, so it's nice. But this is different. This is a guy that when I tell people, they light up. Oh, I know Chase, right? And this is like my peers. This is like, these people who are respected and whatnot. And this is to me what's going to completely change my life, my career. I just believe it. And I've always believed that I was going to do something in Bay and whatnot. And so now that it's here, it's a little giddy, but it's also like, okay, it's time,
Well, thank you so much once again to the sponsor for the first 15 minutes, which turned into 30 minutes, SingleSourceInsurance.com. Single Source Insurance. Make sure you track them down, SingleSourceInsurance.com. On this day today, we go over on this day to kind of put things in perspective and realize no matter how, even though we're pulling out of nuclear deals and who knows, maybe ramping up for the next World War.
I don't like it when you say it, but it's just so true.
It's not true. We don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. It's true that we could be, and that's what bothers me. I'm like, I just don't like it when you say it, but it's true. We could be.
But these are irrational fears. But anyway, the point being that likely, no matter what's happening, it's going to be a footnote in history one day. It'll be on this day. On this day, in 1977, Joan Crawford died. On this day, okay, so President Hayes had the first what installed into the White House on this day in 1877?
Bowling alley.
He says bowling alley. Molly?
I don't even know.
Phone.
Oh,
the very first phone.
In
way off.
Yeah, 1877. Yeah. On this day in 1970, Bobby Orr leads the Bruins to the Stanley Cup title. And
sorry, Bruins. You didn't make it this year.
Nelson Mandela inaugurated on this day in 1994. Churchill becomes prime minister in 1940. Jefferson Davis captured in 1865. And J. Edgar Hoover begins his legacy with the FBI on this day in 1924. Oh, also China releases Tiananmen Square prisoners on this day in 1990. And that is on this day today, which now brings me to, so I get to do the quote of the day now. And here we go. I'm getting fancy with it, Chris.
You fancy, huh?
I'm getting fancy. Here we go. Boom, boom. Look at that. Instead of looking at the past, I put myself ahead 20 years and try to look at what I need to do now in order to get there then. Diana Ross.
Say it again.
Instead of looking at the past, I put myself ahead 20 years and try to look at what I need to do now in order to get there then. Mm-hmm. From Diana Ross. The reason I picked that today is because it rings true.
Yes.
I'm going to share with you guys a visualization that I've been doing since my teen years. I don't know where this came from. I don't remember if I picked it up. I just remember it just popped in I think it popped in my head. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing as what she said. So let me explain the way that I do this. Back then, it was when I was going to make big decisions. I would close my eyes, take a deep breath, and I'd be sitting on a porch, a porch in the future at 74 years old. I do not know why the number 74 was in my head. Sitting on the porch at 74 years old, looking back on my life and analyzing and judging the decisions I've made, experiences that I've had. And so then I'll look back at the moment that I'm currently in, and I don't know, I guess it just gives you a different perspective, and it would help me make decisions in that moment. As I move on in life, it wasn't I wouldn't just use that visualization technique in moments when I'm making a decision, but a little bit more in general. And I would picture myself on that porch, looking back at my life and all the things that I did accomplish, because of course it's the future, and then sit there and imagine what it was I did in order to accomplish those things. So I don't know if that helps, but I see Diana Ross has that quote, and I thought it was kind of a cool one for today.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
I got a couple of things to hit. As far as the news is concerned, we got R. Kelly first up, sir. You a big R. Kelly fan?
Yes, I am.
Big R. Kelly fan?
I'm a fan of his music. Not some, yeah, you guys know the same
so
thing.
Spotify removes R. Kelly.
Really?
Spotify removes R. Kelly's music from its playlist as part of a new hate content and hateful conduct policy. So here we go. Beginning today, Spotify users will no longer be able to find R. Kelly's music on any of the streaming services, editorial, or algorithmic playlists. Under the terms of new public hate content and hateful conduct policy Spotify is putting into effect, the company will no longer promote the R&B singer's music in any way. Removing his songs from we are removing R. Kelly's music from all Spotify owned and operated playlists. His music will still be available on the service, but Spotify will not actively promote it. We don't censor content because of an artist or creator's behavior, but we want our editorial decisions, what we choose to program, to reflect our values. So you'll still be able to bring up his music, but if you're just putting on, a playlist of the day that they've algorithmed for you, he's not going to pop up. Over the past several years, Kelly has been accused by multiple women of sexual violence, coercion, and running a sex cult, including 2 additional women who came forward to BuzzFeed this week, though he's never been convicted of a crime. So this is I think where the discussion begins, Chris, because I almost feel like there needs to be a due process. Because especially when it comes to artists, if you want to go over, what rock stars have done over the years.
Why does it do that?
I mean, should they do the same thing? So should they do the same thing? Are you talking about the PP tape? Cord said toilet.
Right.
Because was that on tape?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we do have that.
Yeah.
But okay, so here's my example. Here's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
So they're making the decision about R. Kelly.
Right.
But okay, so what about was it the Rollings? Who's it that was caught up in that the brown shark thing? Was that the Rolling Stones or was that Aerosmith? Do you recall?
I don't even know what the brown shark thing is.
Or allegedly they some chick with a shark.
Oh man.
Hold on.
Oh.
Let me clarify that.
Whoa.
The brown, I think it was brown shark. Does that sound right?
See, that's dark, dude. And see, look, I have a buddy of mine who I really respect, and he's a very spiritual dude. And he was actually working where I guess when R. Kelly was performing, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like there's something really dark about his energy." This is my buddy. I know he's he's a spiritualist,
right?
And he was like, I looked at him and I took a deep breath and I walked out and I came back and I just kept coming back in that same darkness. Like he goes, that's a dark dude. And then I was like, man. And then when you hear all this stuff about the sex stuff, and I mean, there's a.
Well, you get a little annoyed sometimes. Like yesterday, one of the things that Chris called me out on. Which we didn't sit and talk about for a little bit, but right. he is kind of right on. Is I do have a tendency to be one of those guys that, well, I can't forget the way you put it yesterday.
Like I think like it's like Captain Savior, like protector of the women, and like I used to be that. So just understand, like I get it, but I also know that doesn't necessarily help them because most dudes are all trying to they do that, and it's like,
I have a tendency.
So,
you're right,
yeah, and so that's what I'm like. Look, man, I'm not, and it's me. I'm not a chauvinist at all. You know, I mean, I write love songs. Women are it, and that's all. I just wanted to, sometimes you do that. And it's just like, come on, dude. And it was interesting because after the show was done, I mean, I know there was a lot of heat going on, but you did tell her the same thing. You're like, yeah, you do need to own your stuff. And so I'm like, well, why didn't you say that? In my head, I'm like, why didn't you say it on the air?
Wait, I said what?
You said that, yeah, you should, you were looking at it. You're like, yeah, it was something. Did you remember this? Do you remember this? He said something about like owning it, like not owning it, but like, yeah, it was at the very, very end. You were very calm. You were kind of shaking your head, nodding, like you do need to kind of say.
No, I don't know. I wasn't meaning it in the same way because
not the same way.
I thought I said do you, just do you, own you,
own you.
Like, that's fine.
But you do need to own you. Like you did say something like that, and that's what I'm saying.
But I think I meant it more than whatever. It doesn't matter. So anyway, so the story that I'm talking about is the Mud Shark story. It's not the Rolling Stones. It's Led Zeppelin. So.
This is allegedly, right?
Led Zeppelin wants to file a groupie with a mud shark. The most notorious of all Led Zeppelin legends began when the band played the Seattle Pop Festival on July 27th, 1969. Then retired to the Edgewater Inn. The building sits atop Seattle's Puget Sound. Guests can actually fish directly from their windows. Oh, how cool is that?
That's awesome.
The 1985 Led Zeppelin biography Hammer of the Gods, which got much of its information from Zepp road manager Richard Cole, describes a graphic scene in one of the rooms. A pretty young groupie with red hair was disrobed and tied to the bed. Led Zeppelin then proceeded to stuff pieces of shark into her vagina and rectum. All right, so the truth. Let's see. All right, the truth. This one's fishy. A different version of the Mud Shark incident has Cole as the fish-wielding culprit. The band Vanilla Fudge have also claimed responsibility for the incident. Their drummer Carmine Appice says the girl in question was a groupie who tagged along with him, and his keyboardist Mark Stein filmed the entire encounter. Zeppelin was supposedly in the hotel at the time, though only John Bonham was around for the incident. Somewhere out there is a 60-something woman who might be able to confirm the whole thing, but it's hard to imagine her coming forward. All right, so there you go. So, I listen, Spotify. I'm not saying you're not doing. I understand what you're trying to do, but well, that's a slippery slope, man. With these artists,
right. Like, are you saying keep it consistent? Is that what you're saying? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, man, like, all right, you know. But the problem is.
But there's a lot of stuff out there. Yeah,
R. Kelly,
right.
Like you see that.
Like, she was underage too, right?
Yeah.
So I understand.
You guys good music, man. I do like that. Just that's that.
Leg is cramping.
Oh my girl, what are you doing?
My nerve damage.
Oh yeah, she's got some.
She has some story from when she was hanging out with me last night, and it was a backstage brawl between her and I. Yeah,
I've had 4 spinal surgeries.
4 spinal surgeries.
I've had 2 fusions.
What happened? Tell the story about it.
I had scoliosis. I can show you guys will be disgusted.
Right, so tell
it's
the
not.
story.
Well, it's not great. I had scoliosis growing up. I wore a back brace for 3 years.
Oh wow!
In middle school, and it was hell.
But you turned that shit around and became Miss Teen Rhode Island.
You were Miss Teen
Hold on,
Rhode Island?
I brought something for you actually. Thank you for reminding me.
You were Miss Teen Rhode Island?
I was. I brought this because he was being a diva yesterday a little bit. I brought a crown for him.
Don't put it. No, you ain't put it on my head. We ain't doing that. You can give me the crown. Thank you. I give it to Valentina.
No, you can't.
Oh, you can't keep it. That's her crown.
Yeah,
She's
Oh, this is yours.
Yeah. There you go. Just for a second.
Oh, yes. I have to admit, I do feel.
Don't you feel like
I feel pretty.
I feel pretty.
it's
so
probably not
pretty.
going to get stuck in your dreads?
It did.
Oh, it did.
There we go. Take your damn thing back, lady.
But yeah, so when you're being a diva,
Speaking
you
of
just
which.
put your, sometimes actually, sometimes just like to put the crown on. Just be
Do
like,
you really?
Can I ask you questions now that we just we're gonna go back a couple episodes like weeks ago? Do you feel that women dress up for other women as well, and they're sizing other women up, and more so than okay?
So my thing is, I'm a girl's girl. Like if I see a girl with an awesome outfit, I'll go up to her and say, "Girl, where did you get that? Where'd you get your shoes?" I think for me the best compliments come from other women.
Okay.
When they're not like, well,
but do you think that women? But you do agree that women are sizing each other up, and it's
yeah,
like a
but,
competition.
I think some,
Yeah.
but I don't think that like so. I think that the women I know and the women that I'm around, I've not had like one night. I don't know if it was the outfit or what how I did my hair or my makeup, but I've had like girls say, "You look so pretty tonight," like. Right. Not lesbians, nothing like that, and I'm like, thank you.
Have you?
Like,
but have you had girlfriends sit next to you and a girl walk in the room and be like, "Bitch"?
Yes, like because they're with if they're with their boyfriend and like a really hot girl walks in, they'll be like,
right.
But they won't they'll roll their eyes like.
And the competition, okay, because Chris again, that was a time I think you were going against me, saying I was just like, I'm like, dude, no.
It's just because you said all girls. Like she just said some, and I agree.
I said it can't be 100%, but I was saying them. I would say, would you say 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10?
I think it's as you get older, the bitchiness and the cattiness
subsides.
Yeah, like where we realize that you need your girlfriends.
Right. But is it, how many would you say? 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 girls do it? If you had 10 girls, you think that they would probably...
I think probably 6 or 7 out of 10 would probably be like...
And that's
who does she think she is?
And I was wrong for saying all. I should have... If I could go back, I would say predominantly most would probably do that, because I was saying it's like a kind of a nature... thing, like a natural,
there's another little asterisk to put here. Or is it asterisk? I always
the same thing.
Asterisk. One day it'll stick. But because one of the things I said that day too is I go, Chris, because of your path and your gift and you're a good-looking guy, from my perspective, you're one of the A-team. You're one of the cool kids. And she's a pageant girl. And I said, so if you're talking to pageant girls, I bet you it is 8 out of 10 when you're talking to girls that were raised in pageants.
Right.
Well, I actually forced my parents to let me do them because I couldn't. I couldn't do sports because of my back, but also at the same time, I loved to dress up. I loved.
You're the baby of the family as well, so there's that thing as well.
And my parents were like, no. And then I was like, please, I really want to do this. Because you see, with like toddlers and tiaras now, they're like forcing these babies.
Yeah, really young.
Gross,
it's really young.
But I begged.
Can you guys help me with something?
Yes.
I have an issue that I need you guys to help me with. An issue of anger.
Oh.
It happened again this morning when I flipped on the television to Good Morning America. And then all of a sudden they started showing some of this royal shit. And then they're showing some chick that's getting married. She at the Disney, and she looks like Cinderella, and and they're just all, oh, look at and there is an annoyance that starts to build very quickly when I flip on the television, and I see these people faking because I guarantee you, Michael effing Strahan doesn't give two shits about the royal family or a royal wedding, and to see the way that we swoon and fawn over this ridiculous notion. I don't want to feel that way.
Ridiculous notion of what?
Of royalty and
okay.
And this aristocratic
I get what you're saying.
Thing that we are so fixated. As a matter of fact, I've read article after article over the years that we in America are more obsessed with the royal family than people in England. People in England don't even follow it like we do. Yeah, and it makes me angry.
I have to say that I'm going to own it.
Please, good.
I don't know why. I think it has to do with Princess Diana, that I really looked up to as a kid, and her death. Like, I remember I was at summer camp, and we heard it on the radio, and I cried. Because she was such
you're also in that world to some degree, like pageants, and you were, so that you identified with
that
her.
was before Pat. So she passed away in 98 or 97. So I'm 28. So I was born 1990.
And you weren't raised in pageants,
No.
So it's a little different. You weren't in pageants when you were 4, 5, 6 years old. When did you do your first pageant?
I was 14.
14, okay. And you forced your parents instead of the other way around.
I really forced them. Like, I really had to I want to do this. I like to be on stage.
Let it go.
I pushed and I pushed. And
but why do you think, if you were to stop and think just in general terms, like, why do you think that we are so into the royal family, and why do you think that, like, this our generation? Why would you think it, if you were to say?
I think it's because they're so good at making it seem perfection. They're very, like, Kate Middleton and Prince William. They have who's ever training them to act the way they are in public. I know they have a public person that does that for them. They have made it like they see like goals. Like, they have 3 kids. They just had a new baby. They have a gorgeous family. And they live in a palace. And
so you think it's part of
the ideology?
It's a fantasy.
But so when I wasn't working for a bit, I started watching. Like, I canceled cable, so I was watching like series after series after series, and I've watched a lot of stuff about England and Europe, and if you think about it, if you go back to like Henry VIII, and I went far back where it's like they all were incest and they all were trying to keep it in the family.
Right,
and
again, for perfection, to purify the family, to purify the breed.
And I feel you, Chris. I don't know what that is, man. There is a weird obsession with that and royalty and nobility, and it's very ego-based. I guess, you know,
I think what it
feels kind of like, you know, we're better than you, and I don't like that because you are gonna go to you shit like I shit. Like I don't know. I feel you. There's something that you and I definitely link up on when I see that. I just go like the whole like people obsessing over the Kardashians. That drives me insane because I look at it and maybe I grew up in the era where people were famous because there was a talent that they did. They were bringing something to the world, not because your sister hooked up with this dude and now you have money. Like it's just weird to me. So I the obsession of, and then you know they put it out there and put it out there and put it out there, and each generation is following another one of theirs and their generation. And for what? What are they doing
Chris,
for you?
Sam and I were having this discussion a couple weeks ago. You weren't here, it was the day before I went on that television show,
right?
The Morning Blend, and I was supposed to be talking about pop culture. She goes, "Bring up the Kardashian Jenner family tree. I'm going to walk you. This is all you're going to need to know." And so she starts walking me through this thing and telling me this story and telling me that story. And at first, I'm getting worked up and angry,
right?
And then all of a sudden, like this light went off. I went, "Oh my gosh, the Kardashians are real life soap operas." The same thing that happened is dragged generation, grandmother after mother after daughter through soap operas going back 50 years. Well, this is, in a sense, real life soap opera.
And it's drama, and that's where I think we all get into drama. Life is drama, they can say it, but I feel the obsession over drama, and I just have with drama now. It's my life, and that was part of why I think I got upset with her, and I was explaining this to her afterward too. It's like, you know, when the girl was like, "Hey, will you help me catch him?" And I'm like, "Dude, you like drama then?" Like, why? That's just nothing to show for at the end. It drains you. It takes your energy away, and you just have nothing to show for. And in the end, they're still together. What's to make you? And so I think that was also part of the thing why I was getting so annoyed. I just really don't like the drama. But again, that was me making it about me because she has every right to live her life however she wants to live it, and that's where I felt like I made a mistake by hammering down and just being like, "Oh, okay, that's what you feel." But she gets it now, though.
Adam. Well, first of all, about the Kardashians. So all of a sudden, I started to change my thought because then I started thinking, I'm going on this show that's pop culture oriented. They're not cynical like me. The people that are watching are not cynical jerks like I am.
Okay.
And so I go, all right, well, let me change my perspective and let me look at the Kardashians from a positive standpoint. I go, what could I say that would come off as positive? And I go, okay, I'll say this. I'll go, I want to thank the Kardashians. I want to thank the Kardashians for taking the focus off of our own issues and our own families and our own personal relationships so we can project them onto this family up on the television screen. So thank you very much for doing what you're doing so we don't have to focus on our plank in our eyes, the planks in our own eyes. Thought I'd drop in a little bit of scripture while we're at it.
That's cool.
Adam says, any woman who can duct tape her bowels together 8 hours after having a baby and pose for glamour shots, okay by me. Talking about Kate Middleton. What did you guys think about this? So this is another thing that we talked on the show that day about, since we're talking about royalty. This is what bothered me because we fake perfection so much that I think it's unhealthy, and I understand there's an argument for it. Like, no, you're projecting this. Even though you're not perfect, you're trying to be perfect constantly. Well, then that is what's going to drive the cultural evolution of our species.
Yes, dude.
If we keep trying to put on that perfect face out in public, that will eventually get there. But I think there's also a downside to that, and that is this mentality where we keep our own problems to ourselves. We don't talk about it to anybody else. We keep stuff in the family, and that's where the continuous cycles of different kinds of abuse, keep going on. But anyway, so let me get back to perfectionism. It bothered me. I thought, what a great moment. Kate Middleton could have come out of that door
without any makeup on.
How great would that have been? How beautiful.
That could have set so many young girls and people free.
How
it could
beautiful
have set
would that
them
have been?
free.
Yes.
Wait a minute. And,
in that moment, she perpetuated it.
Yes, dude.
And so I know. Look at Adam. He goes, good for her. And when I was watching TV and Twitter, look, good for her, good for her, good for her. And then my good friend Phoebe, who used to do radio in this town and now working with the Apple a Day program, she posted a picture of herself 8 hours after she gave birth. And she laid it right next to, that double picture, put it right next to Kate Middleton. And she goes, women of the world, please do not try to look like Kate Middleton 8 hours, 7 hours after you gave birth. This is what you
It's
look
supposed to
like
look
7
like.
hours. Like, I didn't even recognize my friend for a second. Like, I thought she was posting a picture of just some random mom, and then it dawned on me. It took me like 2 seconds to realize, no, that was a picture of her right after giving birth. Adam goes on to say, I actually agree with you. Having 2 kids and seen what happens, I thought it was stupid. Yeah, but how, Chris, think about it. If she would have come out there with just like every woman 7 hours where it looks like somebody tried to get a brush through her hair.
Right. If she had just taken that one natural moment of giving birth, which is
awesome.
so spiritual in its own way, and been like, hey, this is where we are all alike. We're women and we're bringing this stuff together, and it's not about this. It's about the baby, and it's about something real and organic. It would have been awesome. Like, I don't know, man. Again, we're all dreamers, I
Everybody
guess.
praised her for after her last birth because she wore a dress that was fit, like showed after, but she still had her hair and makeup done, like perfection. Like hair and makeup was done, and then my friends were posting photos, like you were saying your friend did. Me after giving birth versus Kate Middleton after giving birth.
Right.
And you could see it in her eyes though. If you see that in her, like she looks exhausted. Like she looks.
Does she? She looks,
in her eyes, you can.
You have to look hard in order to see that.
Like you can just see she's like forcing it.
Yeah.
Like she's
Of course.
tired. Well, she
That was
just
her third
shoved
kid.
the baby
Right.
out.
Right. It's not.
And we judge because we don't even know what's happening on the other side. And what if someone's telling her, Kate, you need to, and she's probably, what if she's fighting and being like, oh, can we just have me just not for one day?
A lady of the royal
That would be
family does
amazing.
not go out in public looking like that. Poof, 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 poof.
Yeah. I mean, you never know.
Sorry for all of you watching in Britannia for that horrible accent and my ignorance.
It's not ignorant. It's just lack of familiarity.
As she says, don't think for a second any of it was her choice. Being a royal is not glamorous. It's like being a kid in boarding school. There's extreme rules. Yeah, I don't know why anybody wanted. Well, I can see you're living out of fantasy.
Yeah, right.
You're living out of
The
fantasy.
grass is always green on the other side, I guess.
All right. Yeah. I got a couple of things here. A couple more things here. One, a California town is wrestling with the odor amid a shift to pot. So a California flower town. This is in Southern California. The air has started to change there. It was once known for its flowers, but now it's switched to cannabis. So marijuana has become the new crop of choice in the farmland surrounding this tight-knit community of 14,000, which has long helped fuel the U.S. cut flower industry. Where is this damn town? Where is this place? Oh, Carpinteria, California. Residents say, here you go, Chris. A thick skunk-like odor from the marijuana plants settles over the valley in the evenings and before dawn. To keep out the stench, they have tried stuffing pillows under the doors, lighting incense, and shutting windows. A reluctant choice since it also keeps out the cool ocean breeze that were once a part of the town's allure. We don't want the marijuana smell, says the 73-year-old retired sheriff's deputy who was born and raised in the town and lives near a greenhouse that grows marijuana. We want fresh air. He says the odor pervades his hillside home. And listen, marijuana can definitely have a stench to it, have a stink.
Yeah, go to Jamaica.
I've definitely been guilty of being like, where's their skunk?
Yeah. Listen, you guys nailed it there in the story where you said the incense. That's just do what all the potheads do and just have incense and you're good.
Yeah.
The incense mixed with the pot smell actually makes for a quite charming aroma in any city.
Hey, quick question. Is Sharon on?
I have not seen her today, no.
See?
Oh, what are you thinking? You thinking I offended her yesterday?
No. She said it wasn't the best show. I think she was just, all right. She just...
Well, I responded
It's
to
all
her a
right.
second time.
It's all right.
Did you see? Did you happen to see what I? Because I was a little annoyed.
I
And I've known Sharon.
haven't had a chance to go ahead.
I've known Sharon a long time, and she had wrote early in the show something about this wasn't the best show. Something, yeah, one about this best show or something. Then later, like I go back later on in the day, and I see she chimed back in. There she is, Sharon. So she chimed back in saying the same thing, and it pinged my ego. Like, those.
She just joined?
Yep, she just joined.
My timing, I can tell you.
Well, I have Elliot might have texted her. Hey,
Did he?
or she's been here the whole time saying, "Yeah, I'm here."
All right.
So when she put this, because I knew it wasn't our best show. There were moments that I wish I could take back from that show. So it's already bothering me, right? Because normally somebody's critique. Let me clarify.
I know what you're about to say. Like,
normally somebody's critique does not bother me.
Right.
That wasn't always the case. It took like 10, 15 years of being in radio, and it bothered me a lot in order for me to get over it.
Right. Same.
Fast forward, however, if there's already something stuck in my craw, like bothering me about the show, and then somebody reinforces it, oh my God, it just sends me in such a spiral of depression so quickly. So she doubled, and I've known Sharon forever. Right. So I don't need to hear that from, if I look up and I don't recognize the name and somebody puts that, whatever, but it's something I've known for a long time, and we had an off show and she had to put it twice. So yeah, it pinged my ego and I was like, yes, you already said that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it was funny because I respect Sharon so much, and when I read that just as you say, there's a respect, and it's like, all right, if she is feeling that, not every show everyone's going to feel every single aspect, but because I do respect her, there's some truth in it. So it's like, I think I'm glad that we're all, having taken this time right now to, see what we could do better and call ourselves out, because we ultimately just, we want to be better. And so again, steps backwards or steps forward, and it's just, it's great. I mean, I admit, like, so, to Sharon on the aspect of that,
And I just, that was my first time on the show yesterday, and I don't want anybody to be like, oh, if she's going to be on, I don't want to watch it. Like, I don't want that to happen.
Right, and I could have had something to do with that, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's why we had you back today, because it's like, let's do a retake.
I like these guys. Be cool. I want to be back.
It wasn't I was ready for round two. It was like, let's get after yesterday's. I don't know.
I'm sure everyone thought it was going to go down, man. Like, these guys are going to be, but I just don't play that.
So here's what I wrote in the body today. Round two. Yesterday's the Wake.Show is more like the Shit.Show. Let's see if today will go any better as Molly Jacobson returns to continue an awkward discussion with Chris McCarty.
Yeah. But I think what's good is, for me anyways, is just to be able to show that who I am, and I get fiery and I get passionate, and I can debate and I stay and I call it out, and to know that I can make someone feel uncomfortable, but my ultimate job is I don't want to do that. It's not my intention. So to fix it, and I feel like anytime you do anything where you do something quote unquote wrong, just do whatever you can immediately to fix it. And so that was what that's all about. And I'm glad that she's here and we're here. So it shows that, she got to see the other side of both books. And
so Sharon's chimed in. She said, Adam said, move on, not me. I've been there the whole time. I said it wasn't the best show, but I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said it wasn't my favorite. And I didn't say it twice. I wanted to explain why. Listen, Sharon, no, you
did exactly what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Sharon. Exactly. Because look, it's because now he had a reaction. I had a reaction. You see that we value your thought, and we became better because you did. So don't say shouldn't. No accidents. I'm glad you did.
Remember how I set this up too. I didn't say F Sharon for writing this. F you. What I say? How'd I set this up? My ego got pinged yesterday.
He owned it.
All right, it's on me. My ego got pinged. I allowed that moment. I don't know how much that's true. But that moment got the best of me. So anyway, no, Adam Hazel, she's not talking about you. She was talking about Adam Augusto. Because he's like, Adam who? I was quite enjoying myself.
Oh my God.
And Robert says, controversy equals ratings. That is true, but there is a certain art, believe it or not, to controversy.
Yeah, we did not follow the art. There was no breathing. There was no.
And I don't know how you guys feel about orgies. What your thoughts are on orgies? But
I think they can be fun. I mean, I just feel like,
rock star.
I'm different now, so there's definitely heathenism as aspects of it, and then there's a thing, there's a darkness that you can bring. I don't know, but I won't lie. I've hung out. Never ever have I ever. What?
Look at Molly's face.
I told you I'm different. Listen to rock and roll. That's some real stuff.
Was there mud shark involved?
What did Rick James say? It's one hell of a drug.
Rock and roll's one
hell of a drug. That was a long time ago.
Who else in my family will you people attack? I love you, Elliot. I love you so much. Yeah, first you're going after Elliot, then I go after his mom.
Right.
So here's why I bring up orgies. Hundreds of sex enthusiasts who descend on Las Vegas for world's biggest orgy, an X-rated world record attempt. More than 1,000 people are expected to join.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, orgy's not your thing.
That just sounds like a whole pile of STDs.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought the same thing.
And then now you see it differently.
Well,
how many
yeah,
people? The most people that have ever, how many people were involved in this? This
you mean
moment?
for me?
Yeah, for you in this moment.
I mean, back when I went back in the day.
Back in the day.
4.
Okay, all right, solid. It wasn't like 8 or 10 or anything like that, but
yeah, there was one dude.
What?
There was one guy hanging out.
You make sure that he's like, hey, buddy, you stay on that side. You're on that side.
No, I'm saying it was being 3 ladies, dude. I mean, whatever, man.
Yeah,
Look,
I don't share, so that's like
I didn't have a girlfriend. I was free to do me.
yeah, but still,
and I owned it.
I won't share. Like, even if you're not my boyfriend, I'm not going to bring somebody else in.
Well, two
that's
dudes.
cool. Right
So
on, man.
2 dudes and 2 chicks. Is that considered an orgy, or is that just swapping stuff?
You know what? I don't know. That's a good question. Let someone else answer that.
Should we ask Siri?
I think 3. Siri. Yeah, Siri.
Siri, how many sexual partners must there be in order for it to be considered an orgy?
Here's what I found on the web for how many sexual partners must there be in order for it to be considered an orgy.
I think you needed to make it a little simpler question.
She said
She would have got it right anyway. Siri never gets anything right. Siri, you're the worst.
The worst.
I just read something too recently where they just they put in competition Siri, Alexa, Google, whatever and whatever, and Siri scored the worst on what they were trying to get it to do. Yes, Nikki says it's just swinging then. Except you guys weren't actually couples. It was 2
Right,
dudes,
that's
2
what I was thinking. Like, couples would be swinging, but if
Right.
it's just like coming to the party, I don't know.
And Cords brings up a good point. Did they keep track back in ancient Rome? Because those orgies were very popular back then.
Yeah, I'm sure, right?
More
Right.
than-
Good call.
More than 1,000 people are expected to join the monumental event in the city of Nevada. Participants can either play with just their partner or with other attendees, providing there is a established mutual consent. Tickets cost $200
What?
for a couple, $25 for a single woman, but unescorted males are not allowed. Wait a second, I'm pretty sure this is a violation of the Constitution.
I mean, to find who would go with me to do this. It would be interesting, just to kind of.
Yeah, because you can't go.
I
watch.
would when I'm older,
You and Lauren wouldn't just go and just be hanging out and just. No,
I wouldn't mind trying like that Fantasy Fest in down in Key West. You know what I'm talking about, where like people get the chicks will have just painted. The women will have like painted on tops and stuff like that. You know, but I don't think the guys are allowed to be slinging.
Yeah.
But Cords is like, is there a bracelet system? Scan your bracelet, tag yourself into the orgy.
Like, re-entry.
How to keep track of who
re-entry.
you've been with. Like, I already been with you. Let's,
have them stamp your
Like,
card.
Stamp your arm.
Everyone's got like a couple letters. Like, wait. Oh no, I didn't. We already did it. Where you got that?
Oh,
No,
I don't want to
like
do you again. I'm going to go to the next one.
Stamp your. Oh, I get a free reverse cowgirl.
No, it's funny, man. I don't know. There's of course, like we said, your name is Christopher, and first part is Christ, the last part is Lucifer.
All right.
So there's the Lucifer part is like, that kind of sounds interesting, but then the other side of me, I'm like, nah.
Christ wasn't into sex.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he's a man, and I think he had sex. So
according to stuff that I've read and studied over the years, there was a whole movement back then, I think as there is now, that has to surrounding celibacy. I want to say he, Peter, and a couple of others at the time that was really be celibate, and it was working out well for him.
Tell the truth.
So
How many of you guys
around.
who watch this show would actually go to Nevada if you could, and no one find out about it? Tell me the truth. Just say that.
God, I just thought of something.
Like,
I would
I'm
try a
curious.
nudist resort. I'm not saying that like my wife would be down for this,
Right.
But it maybe in our 60s or something like that. But I could do that. I don't. But a big old or 1,000 person or
that seems very. Yeah, I know. There's a level of like.
Sanitation.
Yeah, like it's just something going on. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It'd be funny.
So tickets are $200 for a couple, $25 for a single woman, Unescorted males, not allowed. However, the organizers do say they will make a few exceptions for respectful single gentlemen to attend with couples or groups. So those will be the guys that'll be. Those are from they're foreigners, and they're paying $10,000 a pop to be in there.
See, it's just I do know that once you have sex, like that stuff stays on you, man. Like there's energies and whatnot, and you just don't know who. That's why, like, the story I get, I was a young dude, and just thought it'd be cool so I could have, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't do it now. Just at the end of the day, I wouldn't do it, and I'm very selectful of who I give my time and energy to, because I've come to realize that, like, I think I'm a pretty special dude, and so I don't want to just give it to anyone. You gotta.
How many women do you think you've been with in your life?
Me?
Yeah, hundreds.
I couldn't count.
Yeah,
it's funny. I was told that a real dude just don't count, man. Like, I'm counting. Like, I'm just living my life, and it's a lot. I've slowed down. I like consecutive monogamy, and that's even in my chart. Like, as an Aquarius, I prefer consecutive monogamy. That's sex gets better when it's with the same person and you're growing, and it gets better. We all know that if you've done it. So I don't necessarily need
Yeah.
To answer your question, Chris, Nikki says nope. She has no interest in going to Nevada to be part of this at all.
My girl.
I don't know anybody who actually knows.
There are guys,
their number.
Guys who do. There are guys who do.
No, the number of people that they actually.
Absolutely.
I don't get that.
For me,
why do you like? So, for instance, I was dating
thing.
a guy for a year, and since I couldn't give him a number, he called me a whore and said, "Get the fuck out."
Jeez.
In front of his friends.
Wow. Well,
and I said, "Excuse me," said, "You do not speak to me like that. Bye."
Yeah,
and then he came running crying. And I'm like...
Did you exaggerate crying? Like,
no, I swear to God, this guy was a crier.
Okay, then stay away from that guy.
But no, I don't think anybody, like, that's none of it, like, my path. Like, if I'm dating you and you are my boyfriend, whatever I did with anybody else in the past is...
Yeah. The past, man. The past,
in our relationship.
Like, you can't. I don't care what you've done before. I mean, I like to know if it's something I need to know. But I mean, as far as like who and number, I don't even. To me, I look at it like if we're out in public and some dude that you were with at some point is there, like, you might want to give me the heads up, because some dudes get the ego thing and they want to come up to you and talk to you, and it's like, if you know what I'm saying, like that kind of territorial. I'm a lion like this. Like, I just don't want some dude trying to punk me up. And this is my ego, whatever it call it. It is. I owned it. But I just don't like. If I'm with you, and here's this dude doing some of the things that I did, and if he's trying to do it on purpose.
Okay, let's say he's not, though. Let's say he's not. He's not trying anything. He's
but you heard me.
Cool.
But I said if he, like, that's where I'm like, yo. But if it's a dude just like, oh, what's up, hey, like. Yo, dude, I'm that way. Like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, it's not, but because I still feel like I'm a pretty cool dude, so I don't really need to size up any other guy. But dudes try to size me up sometimes, and I've seen it. So that's kind of the thing. I don't know.
They're just checking you out, buddy. They're checking out your guns. They're checking out your guns.
What's he got going on?
Let's see those go. There we go. Look. Oh, crap.
Whatever.
Whatever. Those are huge.
I've been working. You know what it is? It's so I stopped when I stopped smoking. I just got back in the gym and been staying on it, and it's, if you look at Valentina, she's a big kid. My dad's big. My family, we're just naturally big people, and so luckily I'm one of those dudes where if I work out, I get muscles fast, but if I don't, I get fat, and that's just kind of my thing. And some people have that same kind of situation. So yeah, I've been hitting the gym pretty hard, and I'm staying with it because, again, June 9th is my first big band show with the Chris Picardi band, me and the band. It's going to be at the Hard Rock, and I'm going to be going back to Gainesville, where it all kind of started in the end of May. So it's kind of like I just want to, since the death of my bro, and I'm back to being healthy again. So that's what I'm trying to hit it back and get ready. So this next part of my life.
My brother Kevin says I can count, as I was married at 18, and I was homeschooled by Catholics. We weren't Catholic.
I stopped counting after 12. I just was like, what am I doing? And it was actually my stepmom who was being cool. She's like, man, real players don't count. I was like,
what?
Cool. My stepmom said that.
Said what? I couldn't hear.
She said, like, real players don't count.
Real players don't count.
I thought you said one night stands don't count.
No. She was like, if you're really that dude, you're not counting. She was basically saying, are you that dude or trying to be that dude? And I was like,
but a lot of dudes are that dude because there's a certain competition there, so you are keeping it track because you feel
it's
like
an
you're
insecurity thing.
Yeah,
man,
it's
for
very,
me.
very,
I mean,
very so,
I was more promiscuous at a younger. Most of us are at a younger age when my grandmother died, and I've been able, as time's gone by, clearly I've been able to sit back and figure it out. But my grandmother was everything to me. She was the one that rocked me. She was the one that held me. And so when she died at 18, I was basically trying to fill that loss, that void in another woman, and then this woman and that, and it ended up, finally I realized that that's, those issues. So I had to like fight that and combat that and not go into that and be okay with being myself and being by myself and loving myself and finding a new way to love myself. And so once I finally got into that, then I was able to actually have monogamous and relationships that worked out for the better.
So you
that was about like yeah, like
I'm still hung up on you talking about you saying you haven't smoked
like,
now in over a month.
Yeah, totally. And I haven't and probably like it's been like 5 years from 18 to 23 to like kind of figure that out and know what was going on and why I'm doing it. And it was an insecurity thing and didn't feel, maybe I needed to feel like love myself. I didn't necessarily love myself the way I do now, and fully and wholly. And again, I ended up getting conversations with God at 23 when it landed in me. So it was a very short time after that of being able to figure out, like, and again, this is the life lesson. I think we're all here to figure out and remember who we are. And then you're able to fly. And so now, isn't any coincidence things are going my way because I know who I am now and I'm happy.
I believe you can fly. I
believe you can touch the sky. Yeah. You and R. Kelly. We should just make R. Kelly references all day.
Beep beep. Toot toot.
So what's the?
Speaking of which, last night, what's that? What'd you say?
Last night, was there a remix of some sort?
Well, last night a guy comes up to do Ignition. Did karaoke, so this guy comes up to do Ignition. But the only karaoke version I have, and I'm just getting this off my chest because, well, nobody else can relate. Some of the songs that I have in my karaoke system, the words pop up as the words are supposed to be sung.
Oh, so, yeah, you can't do that, man. That's hard.
Yeah, so
that's what happened to Johnny when he was doing his song, the Circle of Life. It was happening right then. He didn't have any lead.
I don't know why they do that. But speaking of, so last night, when I do karaoke out at Park and Rack, it's a 4-hour gig. There's a certain amount of anxiety that goes along with it because I can't sing, a performance anxiety, just naturally if I go anywhere to do anything. And then it's kind of heightened because I don't sing. So I try to have like a beer an hour, kind of a thing. Or 2 beers first hour, 2 beers second hour. And so I go and I have a drink last night and the manager comes up to me and she goes, "You can't drink." I go, "Or there's no drinking." And I go, "Oh, okay." And she just walks away. And as she walks away, I go, "Wait. Is that a new policy like for everybody, or did I do something that I didn't know about? Yeah, that I didn't know about."
Right.
And so she disappeared. I didn't see her for it was about an hour and a half that I'm sitting there, and I'm starting to get nauseous because I'm going, all right, you've effed up, you did something,
right? Your head, your head's winning.
And I'm in that place where I feel like I'm getting in trouble, and I just hate that. I
know what you mean, man. I know what you mean. Ugh.
So
So you talked to her?
I tracked her down.
Okay.
I tracked her down. I go, "Hey, listen, did I do something last week?" Because I'm thinking back of the following week. I'm like, "Oh, that was the 100th episode, which means I was likely a little jacked. Wait, did I drink? And she goes, no, it's not you. It's a blanket thing now." I was like, "Oh, okay, thank goodness." The stress because
poor dude for like an hour. You were like, "Oh yeah," because you care so much about doing a good job and not offending anyone, and like you care so, which is so great about you. Which why we're friends, because we both, So I can see your brain going, "Oh man."
But now, so I got to get my pen, man. I got to get my card from the state of Florida so I can make sure I have my anti-anxiety medicine with me.
You got to go in there and just start talking about you're anxious and bring any kind of document of when you went to the hospital, any kind of anything.
Yeah, I got it now.
Because they want your business. Think about it. They're making money off you, dude.
Right. So Nikki says she just ordered the book off of Amazon yesterday, talking about conversations with God.
Yeah.
I cracked it open yesterday morning before we came in and got through the introduction and a couple of pages into the first chapter. I think I'm like chapter or page 12 or something like that.
Okay.
So I'm just starting the book. But Andrew chimed
Chase Rice got it too. Everyone's on it, man. Chase just told me he's been reading a couple things too. So it's just great, man. It's great.
And what was it you brought up earlier? Because Andrew chimed in about the 4 what?
The 4 elements. 4 agreements, excuse me.
4 what?
Agreements.
4 Agreements.
That's a great book. Everyone should read that book. That is a great
I've
book.
heard of that one too. What's that one?
Basically, they're talking about being impeccable with your words. So understanding the power of the tongue, understanding being mindful what you're saying. It's a two-edged sword. Like one thing can be positive and build things, and one thing can break things down. So that's why everyone knows I don't say HATE, because it's just a negative word. I won't do it. And they also talk about not taking things personally. So when someone comes to you and they say, you have fake boobs, you
What?
stop it. Remember you were telling me yesterday that people come to you and they say that, and you're like, what the? And it's like, so the idea is to be like, oh, that has nothing to do with me. That's something to do with you. And so the idea is, like, as human beings, we're all kind of prodded to go a certain way in society. Like, society tells you this is yes, this is no, don't do this, don't do that, and your parents do it, and so on and so forth. So essentially, like, you're eating like this pill. Like, this is like how what I need to believe. And so what you find is everyone is trying to give you their pill, their opinion. Like, everyone thinks they're right, the whole kind of idea. And so you got to be very careful of what you allow into your world and what you accept and what you will hang on to and grab onto.
I remember this book now.
Right.
A buddy of mine who was married at the time got it to help his marriage, I believe.
Yeah, dude, it's great. And that's what I was telling her. I was like, I didn't want her, because for a long time, for me growing up, I cared so much what everyone thought on stage. I wanted them to like me. I wanted them to know I was good. And I almost needed their approval. I was approval seeking. And now I'm past that. And I was seeing that with that in her and saying, hey, like, I don't want you to walk down the same path that I did. Like, these people don't matter. They matter, but they don't matter. Like, you care at this point in your life, you might be care too much what people think. Like, I don't want people to think, and it's what I'm saying. Hey, man, like, once you own yourself and completely love yourself and you know who you are, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks, because they're gonna stop thinking about you anyway. So
all right, so I pulled it up here. Be impeccable. Be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love.
Yep.
Don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own
Are
dream.
you listening to this?
Yeah,
That
I'm
is
trying
so-
to find
that-
the book.
No.
another
Listen to what
book.
he's saying. I told her, we have listening issues. I have listening issues, and I'm getting better, and I'm helping her with
yeah.
that. So read that again. She needs to hear this.
Don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own dream. I think that there is some truth in that.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of truth in that.
Absolutely.
All of our, it's our perspective and our projections. Here we go. Don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want.
Right.
Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. This is a difficult one for me. Only because...
Well, the situation with the beer, you were assuming that you did something wrong. You were making an assumption, and then you found her. And you found out it's Zoe Death.
There you go. Great one.
Yeah. And,
So that was affecting me negatively. I was getting depressed over that hour and a half. I was getting nauseous. I worked myself up. I was getting nauseous because I thought I'd done something wrong.
yeah. And I think remember there's a funny quote. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
Yep.
So it's like being direct. Like, if I'm saying this, don't say. So you're saying no. I'm saying this. If you're assuming, don't assume that. Like, that's one. That'll get you in a lot of arguments. Me and my ex we have a lot of that. It's like, ugh.
The irony too is, I've been in mass communications for forever, but communicating 101 is very, very difficult for me. And like to communicate clearly, I don't communicate clearly to my wife. I don't communicate clearly to courts, my business partner in this venture here, and it's because I don't know. If there's an anxiety that is, as I go to ask for something or about something just crushes me, and I just can't do it. I'm not going to say can't. It is very difficult. Thank you.
You're working through.
Deidre chiming in. 4 Agreements is a great audiobook too. Super easy to listen to. Only 2.5 hours. Good for a good road trip.
What was the fourth one now?
Always. Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
Do you know what it is?
No, I forgot. I'm trying to wait. Wait, don't say. Do your best.
Do your best, which is what
Quote
remember
at the
how
end of the day.
me, you and Sam.
That's right.
Here we go.
Always do
Where is
your
it?
best.
Where is it? Here it is.
That's right.
There it is. Do your best.
Yeah, do your best. And I think, but look at this. We said that wasn't our best show yesterday, right? So what are we doing now? We're doing our best. We're doing our best from that, and we are being better. She is acknowledging things. I'm acknowledging things. You acknowledging things. The show is we're doing our best with what we got, and I think that's great.
I think so too.
I agree. So do your best. Your best changes from moment to moment. So this is important for us to listen to as we're going down these self-help.
Great.
Because doing your best is relative to that moment. Maybe doing your best isn't the best you've ever done at trying something, but in that moment, you're always try to do your best. It changes from moment to moment. Your best is different when you are healthy as opposed to sick.
Yesterday.
Yep.
Think about that.
Yep. Let's start. Okay, let's stop right there. Look back at yesterday's show.
I was sick. My eyes hurting. And
Look where Chris was. He had a bug eating out at the backside of his eye.
Oh God.
He was very agitated. Plus, then there was the ear issue, and it just spiraled from there, or escalated from there. Simply do your best under any circumstance to avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Always do your best. It's always. So those are the 4. What is it again?
The 4 agreements.
4 agreements. Maybe that wasn't what my buddy got for when he was trying to help out his own marriage. Take pride in your adventure. It's the only one you got, says my brother Kevin. Take pride in your adventure. It's the only one you've got. All right. Well, how do you guys feel after today's show? A much different feel from yesterday's show, that is for sure. Much more right in here, nice and nice.
And the question is, how does everyone who watched it, who watched yesterday and today, how do you guys feel about the show?
They're exhausted.
They may not be it might not have been as exciting and but don't worry, I'm still who I am and he's still who he is, and we're gonna have our moments of that's just gonna happen. So if you liked that, just keep on watching. You'll get it. Don't worry. But if you like us being calm like this, I'm saying we're all people, man. Like everyone has a day. Sometimes you just have a good day, bad day, rough day. Everyone has their day, and we had our day, and we just allow ourselves to be seen on that day.
Molly, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I'm just hoping that I did not, I just, yesterday was a very, weird day. We had a weird show.
But how you feeling?
I feel great, and I really hope that people are enjoying my company as well.
Go. But but you don't care what they think.
But I don't really care.
There you go.
But
I'll help you.
I wouldn't want to be the reason why they don't succeed. Like, I'm thinking about you guys too.
Oh no, that would have been 100%
Oh, don't
me.
you worry, don't you
100% me.
Like, I mean, if Molly's on the show, we're not going to watch it that day.
No, dude, that's 100% me.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Just you don't want it to be like, oh well, that girl's on here. I'm not watching. Like, no,
that girl.
I think. Again, I will take 100% blame for things going the way they were because I'm a 100% person like you are, and
and I appreciate that, but there's no reason for anybody to be absolute.
I just say that. Well, and it's in a book called Guy Hendricks called the Great Leap, the Big Leap. And Gay Hendrickson, he was talking about how people in relationships, they're like, oh, well, it's 50-50. No, it's not 50-50. It's 100% me. I'm 100% a person, and can't be. You're not half of a person. So I'm taking 100%, action from my actions and from my reactions. And I say that, and by doing that, it allows me to avoid something like that again for the future, and allows me to grow. So I like to take 100% in all situations in my life. No victims here, man. No victims here.
I like your show, period. Keep on keeping on, says Lisa Kraft.
Thank you, Lisa.
Nikki says, I enjoyed it. And Elliot says, these conversations are feeding your synchronicity paranoia.
I want to meet you guys. Is there a way we could all... I want to meet everybody. I want to see you guys so I know what...
Okay, so Chris, let's talk. Matt has been trying to get Matt Dom from Masteries. And that's where I'm going to be tonight, by the way. Mastery's doing trivia starting at 7 o'clock. He has been trying to get you and I together for a conversation to talk about putting some kind of event together out at Mastery's, where we do the show from there. You play music. We hook up with a charity, and I think it's time, man. We've been doing the show, or I've been doing the show since November, and Elliot's been there since the beginning. A lot of these people have been there since the beginning. And I would love to do something where we go out and go, all right, cool, here we are. Let's come out and let's get together and just chat it up, have some beers.
I want to do
and
that.
figure out what we want to do with the show.
You know, movies or something like that. I like all that.
Oh, that'd be fun too.
Yeah, but I gotta go to the movies and rock.
You don't like the movies?
Because like you can't have a I like conversation.
Well, we can meet halfway, but we can meet before, eat, and we everyone kick it, and we all go to the movies. We watch the movie and we talk about the movie afterwards. I feel like something like that would be cool because it would just only be putting more. Something kind of concrete, just more energy to what we're doing, and everyone has more of a invested interest. Like, hey, we know each other, and like we're becoming friends, and I like that. I don't know, maybe I'm a dreamer.
No, I'm with you. Lisa says, come to Knoxville, book Tennessee Theater. That'd be awesome, Lisa. My first morning show partner is in Knoxville. His name is Nate Farmer, Napoleon. He went by Napoleon, and a very talented guy, singer-songwriter himself as well. And also performed with me at Sac Comedy Theater back in the day, at the same time that Wayne Brady was there. We were not, we were not the A players. When I have to qualify, we were not A players playing, performing on Friday and Saturday nights with Wayne Brady and that group, but we were still there at that time. Kevin says, "Why don't you invite all the listeners up to the forest campfire? He's got 4 acres up there. Everybody bring their tents.
Awesome.
That would be cool.
And you know what? If we do something like that, I'll bring the guitar. We can set something up and play, and just have like a festival thing. We're all kicking it, and I like that, man. Camping out, that'd be sick. I'd do something like that.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really fun.
Nikki, who is in Pennsylvania, says give her enough time, and she would fly down here to attend that event.
Man, it's happening. And I think, the more and more, and this is what I can't wait about, like, the more and more popular this song gets with Chase, and the more and more popular we get, and the more popular I get that we get, there's just more than we'll be able to do. Like, I foresee you and I having our own cruise, a weekend, thing where we go out and it's big, it's popular, and it's out there, and everyone gets rooms, and we have our own, like they have like I guess it was a
there's a big one that they do every year. The Mike Calta show from 102.5 The Bone, and
they do the same thing. Okay, I'm not that creative, but
that's not about being a creative. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here,
right? But I think that would be. I see us doing something like that. Like that'd be fun.
I've always wanted to do a cruise like that, and I used to do golf tournaments. Nate and I, as a matter of fact, when we were at the Crow in Daytona Beach, put on a golf tournament a couple years to help out a Child's Dream Foundation, and I love those. But once we got to Tampa, I guess the numbers aren't that great as far as investing time and the money you get back. So none of the radio stations I ever worked for, or they just wouldn't do it. I'm like, come on, we got to have a golf tournament and do this. I've got something special in every hole, blah, 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 blah. They're like,
that's cool.
We don't make enough money with golf tournaments.
Yeah, what we'll do, I think what we'll do is, there's going to be a lot of money here coming our way. I just believe it. And I think what we'll do is we'll take, everybody who's been on from the beginning, and we can take their families, and we'll all go either to Disney World, some kind of resort, fly somewhere where it's like probably like 20 of us, you know what I mean? Like, or 10 of us or 12 of us, and we just show very real appreciation because they were here in the beginning. Like, I think that would be, I'd like to see that happen. Remember, everyone, this is exactly what Chris and I did 5 years ago. So don't be shocked when it happens. This is how you create your world. We're all in a positive space. We're talking about it. You guys are now hearing about it. It's becoming more concrete. The
secret of the secret.
So yeah, and I'm just saying this. I think it's good intention. It's not like I'm getting any. We're talking about giving and sharing and having moments. So
what about me?
I think that girl. Do you see this? What about me? You're the baby of the family. That was a baby family move. I used to do that. What about me, girl? Of course you're gonna go. Come on now.
So Nikki,
the first person I got mad at, and you started the blow up show. You got to be there.
Nikki says when she's in Florida that she watches you play. She's seen you play. In fact, I have a pic with him. He is how I learned about this show, and I really enjoy. Oh, so Nikki, you were talking about the show at a gig, I guess, and she. That's
awesome.
That is very cool.
Well, I guess you can't really post a picture, but if you can post a pic and send
I think she can do it in the comments.
Can you send a picture?
Sure. Yeah.
Nikki, please put your picture. That'd be great.
And Kevin says he wants you to teach him the spoons.
Got you, brother.
All right, so join me tonight out of Masteries for trivia night starting at 7 o'clock. We have some free beers that we'll be giving away between some of the rounds. Also, first, second, and third place prizes. Gift cards for $20, $15, and $10. Chris, you gigging tonight?
I am. I'll be in Kelly's in Dunedin at 7 o'clock. And then tomorrow I'll be in Dunedin for 6 to 9. And then Saturday I will be at the Hard Rock Council Oak come to that show if you can, 9 o'clock. And then Sunday, we just got an email. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they'd like to have me perform before the game from 5:30 to 7:45. I'm just trying to find people
Which
who can play
day
with
is this,
me.
do you know?
This is Sunday. They literally got the email, so I'm trying
Teach
to
me how to
find.
play the spoons.
Right? Yeah.
Wait, is this going to be out? Is this going to be inside or outside?
Outside.
Oh,
And but that's
still
but it's,
cool.
whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the
So
first time. It's the first time. So the idea is I go down there, we really do a good job, and then they'd have me for, so
Yeah.
the idea is like, do this, because hopefully they make it to the finals, because that'd be great, and then I'd be inside. So yeah, things are working well, man. Things are working well, man.
So that's this Sunday.
This Sunday, yeah,
Oh,
I'm like literally, I'm
Mother's Day.
texting people trying to find out. I think Saturday, I'm texting people trying to find out who
Saturday?
can do the show. Yeah,
I know there's a game Friday night, right? Tomorrow night.
Yeah, find out. So Chords saying they're going to be at the game. They're going to stop by and say hi.
cool.
Yeah, because if it works, I'd love to say
And I live
come by
down
there. Yeah.
I live on Harbor Island, so I'd love to walk over to
All right.
see Jam.
So
great.
Molly, are you gigging tonight? What are you doing?
What am I doing tonight?
What are
I
you
don't
doing?
know. Somebody want to take me on a date?
Oh, jeez. No, turn this into your
joking.
personal.
Dating.
I
Service.
have Dexter.
Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you ask for.
I have Dexter at home.
If you're
waiting
looking for a
me.
dude, you come tonight.
joking.
I have a couple of nice people who'll be
you?
showing up tonight. Yeah, I mean,
I was
let me
making
not.
a joke.
You know what? I don't know these dudes. If you're not Andrew or Julius or Ernest or Tyler, I can't. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say, but So let me
So
just say.
I have to turn on that feature. Elliot says I don't allow pics here.
Oh.
So maybe there's a way for me to turn that on. Let me see here. Edit post. I'll figure that out later. I'll start breaking stuff if I'm not careful. All right, I know I have some client stuff that I got to get to. I have a new concept that I have to work. When I talk about that, and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? One of the things that we do around here is also provide original video content to go live on your social media. So I have a new concept today with some company. I'm not even sure exactly what they do. So I have a lot of research to figure out how I'm going to make that pop. So see you guys tonight at Master East. Thank you so much for the likes and shares. Have a great day. Be safe. Take care of yourself. Be good to your neighbor. And most importantly, let your crazy breathe just a little bit.